In book of Genesis chapter 9 verse 16 we have this verse. When the bow is in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. The covenant is about that the earth will not be again destroyed by waters. And he will set a rainbow in order to remember his covenant. Another word for this everlasting covenant is free grace. The free grace of God, meaning God's unconditional commitment. Why God gave this everlasting covenant? Our human beings have become better, so it drives God to give that covenant. Or is it out of God's abundance, grace and mercy that brought his free grace to us? Everlasting covenant. God promised in post-flood. Genesis chapter 9 verse 8 to 17. The book of Genesis gives two pictures of mankind. God created man in his own likeness and image. And we don't see anywhere else God has spoken or given that grace. Therefore, he was supposed to be a godly person. He was supposed to be a good steward of God's creation. Because he was created in the image of God, should be the most life-giving creature. That's the first picture. But the second picture, book of Genesis portrays how human beings can become most dangerous and destructive creature. Bible says God did not find any ground to spare their life, but they have turned fully evil. So there was only one thing left to wipe them away, because they have become most destructive and dangerous species. What is the story after the flood? Even the Noah, the godly person, we see he himself becoming weaker. And at the Babel Tower we see once again transgression against God. And as we keep unfolding the stories, we understand human beings have very less shown up their changes. Have they changed? Did they care to become good, better? Unchangeable man. Despite God once again gave them a new opportunity, just like he gave once again a blank page to write, but people shown up, they were unable to change themselves. But even though people were bad, but God did not change. No. He did not change his promise. No matter how bad they turn, I set my covenant for them. I will not destroy them again. If you know the harms and injury human beings have created on this planet earth, if you know little bit history of mankind, you will come to know God could have destroyed this earth very long back. But his everlasting covenant stands. The everlasting covenant of God still sparing the lives of people irrespective of their character before him. One side unchangeable man, another side unchanging God. God gave his promise and he will never change it. God has given promise to you. His promise, his promise. Whether you change or not, his promises will never change. Whether you're good or bad, he never turns away from his promises. In the first place, God never gives promise because you are good and I am good. Because he is so good, he gives promise even though he knows we're going to turn away from him. Although man has given up God, God did not give up man. Bible tells us God decided to save this humanity. To teach, to save them, God has come up with a new idea. God is going to choose a tiny family. To that tiny family, God is going to teach his ways. So God is going to teach his plan and purpose to that small tiny family. And that tiny family is going to experience God's promises. The same family will become an instrument in reaching out all the people of the earth. And that family's name is the family of Abraham. Book of Genesis chapter 2 verse 3. You see what God's plan is there. Through you, all the descendant of the earth will be blessed. But one important lesson this family must learn. That is, they must learn to rely on God's power, not its own. That is why God said, leave your own town, own people and all that and go to the place where I'm going to tell you, because you're going to live on my power. Now we must ask this question. Did they learn this important lesson?